Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Pollock Newsom and I'm your host. We have a great show lined up for you this morning. This morning we are going to talk to you a little bit about the soybean industry. We're also going to talk to you about the Food Bank Council of Michigan, and we're going to share some information on some pesticide uses. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. We have lots of good information to share with you this morning. My first guest this morning is Brian Rowe. He is from the Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development, and he works in the pesticide division. So we're going to talk a little bit about a challenge that has come up in Michigan and in other states, looking at using a pesticide for an off-label use, which is, you know, when you get a pesticide, you need to look at it, you need to follow the label directions and use it for what is on the label. And there have been some issues of a challenge that's going on here in the state where folks have found some other uses. So it's not just a Michigan issue, it's a national issue. So he's going to talk to us a little bit about it and share where they're at and what the status is and what is going to happen as far as the regulation and how all that really works together. Then I also have with me this morning Karima Elamine, and she is from the Food Bank Council of Michigan. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges and the number of folks that we have in the state that are food insecure or don't know where that next meal is coming from. And then we're also going to share some programs as to what they're doing and what they're looking at, and some really neat meetings that they have coming up on the horizon. Then I'm also very excited this morning to have back with me Beth Westermeyer. She is with Zeeland Farm Services, and she really works in that soybean arena and has been to a national meeting where they've talked about some of the opportunities of soy. So she's going to share some information there. You know, we talk a lot about soy as an animal feed, but there's also a lot of other opportunities and applications, including the special soy oil that they have at Zeeland Farm Services that has been in the marketplace. So we're going to talk about that, incorporate that, and then she is going to come back for the recipe segment, and we are going to make, or she's going to tell us how to make Asian chicken salad. It smells absolutely wonderful. So I don't know how to make it yet, but I can tell you it is certainly one of those recipes that I will want to make sure that I know how to make over and over, because it smells absolutely wonderful. You know, folks, we talk a lot about agriculture and the different industries on the state. I do also just want to mention, as we're talking about soy recipes, the soy recipe book, you can go to the Michigan Soybean website, michigansoybean.org, request one of the soy recipes, really good recipes and a huge diversity of recipes that you can use making soybeans. Folks, stay tuned. We will be back to talk more after the Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
Following a healthy diet, including soy foods, can help prevent cancer. Soy foods also boost energy, improve heart health, and provide antioxidants. Soy foods are safe and provide important benefits to adults and children trying to stay active. A combination of soy and exercise can help women navigate the menopause years with more energy and fewer complaints. Antioxidants, such as those in soy foods, may help prevent more serious diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. Soy foods are healthy and provide the high-quality protein Americans need to maintain an active lifestyle. Visit michigansoybean.org and also make sure you request your soy foods recipe book. And welcome back. We are back with Brian Rowe. He is with the Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development, Pesticide Section Manager. I want to make sure I get that right. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's good to have you here. And Brian, I'm going to have you tell folks just a little bit about what you guys do and what that is, and then we'll talk about one of the issues we have going on out there.
Sure. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate the opportunity. In Michigan, we regulate pesticide use. I'm the Pesticide Section Manager, so that's everything from products that are sold to homeowners, products that are sold to agricultural producers. We certify applicators, we license businesses. Basically, if it's pesticides, it's us. And so one of the things that we do is we investigate allegations of misuse of pesticides. And I've come today to talk to you a little bit about a consistent and common misuse that's going on out there in the general public.
Well, and I think it's so important to talk about things like that. And as we go through, you even have some photos and things that will show that,
Sure.
that there's even misinformation, a lot of misinformation going out, telling people to do the wrong things with it.
That's correct.
So we appreciate the opportunity to be able to help, to let people know bad things can happen if you don't use the pesticides right.
That's correct. That's correct.
I'm going to have you start and kind of talk about, you know, we're talking about this issue because it's a problem.
Right. Well, and I have to start off by saying it's a little bit risky to talk about this because though it's commonly known and generally advertised on the internet, it's a little risky because some people might be hearing about it for the first time. I guess the main message is, as you're hearing about it, this is a misuse. This is a problem. This is not something that should be done. And what we're talking about today is fly baits. They're commonly known on the internet as fly baits. People are misusing these products to control nuisance animals, skunks, possums, raccoons around their house. It's perfectly legal to use this product where it's supposed to be used, in cattle and dairy and horse locations where there's lots of flies. They're scatter baits. They put them out. The flies eat the bait. The flies die. That's what we want to have happen. And in doing so, you follow label use directions and everything's fine. What happens, though, is for 40 years or more, the stories go, people have been mixing these products with Coca-Cola, Pepsi, any kind of a soda product, putting them out in open containers, and as a result, they might be killing the raccoon or the possum that they want to kill, but they're taking out the neighbor's dog, they're taking out the neighbor's cat. There are all kinds of adverse effects. There's risk. You put something like that out and a kid gets into it, I mean, heaven forbid a child, be exposed to these products. The common product that you would find, I mean, I don't recommend people do this, but if you were to look on the internet and you say, how do I control a raccoon? The words Golden Malron are going to pop up. It's one of the common brand names of this product that contains methomyl. And there are other products that are out there, though, that are the same type of active ingredient that is in methomyl. It's used also, we've heard stories of it being used around sweet corn operations. Raccoons really can they've taken out my sweet corn. I don't like them, but I use a live trap to catch them. I don't misuse, or electric fence. So the big message here is this is an illegal use, okay? And it's so severe and so widespread that Michigan and other states are enforcing it by either fining people or prosecuting people. We're not going to write warning letters for this misuse. We usually find out about it because somebody's killed a dog, somebody's killed a cat. I can tell you about the story in Wisconsin where a gentleman was trying to help his daughter who owned a border collie kennel. They had some rats underneath the slab. He put some Golden Malron out, and he took out the whole kennel.
Wow.
So we work with the diagnostic lab out at MSU. We have veterinarians turning in samples of unknown or suspicious deaths of neighbors' dogs and cats, and they've actually developed a specialized analysis that they can go in and look for this Golden Malron as the active ingredient or the product that's being used and is causing the death. We see other adverse effects. People put it out, turkeys get into it, deer get into it, other more desirable wildlife are getting into it, and it's so strong, the animals typically either die with their face in the plate or maybe get as much as 10 feet away. So this is a really toxic product when it's mixed and used in this fashion. You'll show us, one of the pictures you're going to show is a picture of a store. We've gone out to stores and we've used seen these products sold. You've got a photo of a store where it's actually being advertised. The public should not be buying this for this use. And when we get to the illegal uses, we've had probably the poster child in Michigan was in the Upper Peninsula. We had a deer carcass that was baited, we suspect for control of wolves, but 2 bald eagles were killed. So we have, in Michigan, the real poster child death is our bald eagle situation.
Well, and I know you have a picture of that too that we have up, and it's
a big graphic.
Yeah, but I think people need to realize those are some of the things that happen that I know are not their intended use, but that's why you really have to read those label directions, right, and you have to use those pesticides based on what the label says.
That's correct, and use the label according to the label is our mantra. I mean, that's what we tell everybody. Any pesticide, I don't care if it's the toilet bowl cleaner you're using in your house or if it's the Roundup you're using on your corn. I mean, anything should be used according to its label use directions. In the long run, there are professional companies out there. If people have a problem with a pest, they got a raccoon under their shed, a skunk under their porch, it's going to be cheaper to hire somebody to come in than to misuse a product, cause an adverse effect, and end up dealing with us and paying a fine. I mean, it's just it's all around better to have a professional help you out.
Well, when you look at those things too, I know you mentioned Michigan is looking at it, other states are looking at it. what are some of those plans? How do things progress along? Because, if there are misuses, things do happen and things get more regulated.
Right, and we're actually moving in that direction. Michigan has been sort of the champion at a national level, but other states are also very supportive across the country. We've actually petitioned EPA to make this product now available to homeowners a restricted use pesticide. So that means that the farmer that needs it in his cattle barn, or the horse owner that needs it in their stable, they can become certified applicators. They can purchase the product. We'll be able to track the sale of the product through the channels of trade. So if there are some suspicious inner city, let's say, purchases or something, somebody's buying it where ag isn't really necessarily common, then we would know where that sale is. We could follow up on it. We're not intending to take it off the market for its legal use. We just want to limit the public from those use, or from purchasing it and misusing it, and it's rampant. It is, really.
Well, Brian, thank you.
I appreciate the time.
It so much. Folks, certainly, Brian laid it out to you really well. There are right uses and there are wrong uses. When you use pesticides, make sure you read those label directions, use them how they are meant to be used. Otherwise, we're going to look at more regulation that's really going to detail what you can do and what you can't do. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And welcome back. We're back with Karima El-Amin, Executive Director, Food Bank Council of Michigan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. And the Food Bank Council of Michigan, you guys do wonderful, wonderful things in our state.
Yes, the Food Bank Council of Michigan is a wonderful organization. It's the statewide entity that's responsible of helping to ensure that no one in Michigan goes hungry. Our job is to work with our regional food banks around the state, and there's 7, to distribute food to hungry children and families all across the state. We're at all 83 counties, and last year we served just about 1.8 million children and families.
Wow.
A lot of people. Really excited.
Well, and when we look at that too, the need in Michigan is still great.
The need, I have a couple of statistics, and I know people hate statistics, but I have some ones that are interesting. 1 in 6 children are at risk of hunger, and 1 in 8 households struggle to put food on their table, and 1 in 10 people use emergency food programs, and 1 in 4 public school children receive free lunch in the state of Michigan. And some working parents, many working parents, skip meals to make sure their children have food on the table each night. And that's really daunting.
It is. It is. I mean, it is, because you don't think of that day to day.
No, you don't.
And don't realize how much the parents have to go without to make sure that we can feed those kids.
And that's called being food insecure. And what food insecurity is not knowing where your next meal is coming from. And I always say, how many of us can remember the last time that you didn't know where your meal was coming from? Not what you wanted to eat, whether it was the kind of food you wanted to eat, whether it tasted like, I got something, but I don't really want it, but you had food.
Right.
But think about the last time, if you ever can think about a time that you just didn't have any food to eat and didn't know where the next meal was going to come from. That's what food insecurity is.
Well, and I think one of the nice things too, and I think a good strong link with the Farm and Garden, I know, is to make sure that we can make some of those connections with some of those growers. But also, in agriculture, we don't always think about, top of mind, all those folks who have those challenges and have that need. And I know that's part of what you guys are working on, programs to make sure we're putting everything together.
That is so correct. What I love about farming, now that I took over this position a year now, farmers are our friends.
Oh, yeah.
I know it seems really simple, but we work with at least 200 to 300 farms in the state of Michigan. So we have a couple of programs that are phenomenal programs. We have the MASS program, which is the Michigan Agricultural Surplus System, as where we buy, as I like to call, cosmetically challenged produce from farmers and growers, which would be bee product, to purchase to go into the food bank emergency food distribution network. And that food is distributed into all 83 counties. And farmers love that program because it helps them kind of solidify their bottom line. Because oftentimes many farmers have product that does not make it to the A market. And so what do you do with all of your B grade product? It's perfectly good fruits and vegetables. If you grew it in your own garden, you would eat it. But we go to the the stores and we want perfectly shaped tomatoes and perfectly shaped apples, and they can be a little bit off skewed and it won't make it to the A market. So what they are able to do is sell us that B product, or as I like to call it, cosmetically challenged product, and then we're able to get it into the emergency food system to make sure no one goes hungry, and then we're able to help those farmers solidify their bottom line. And then the second program we have, which is my favorite, is called the Michigan Farm to Food Bank program. And in this program, what we do is we contract farmers in advance of the growing season to grow specific produce for an individual food bank within a 100-mile radius so we can reduce the carbon footprint. And so what this does is it allows farmers, which is very rare that a farmer gets a given contract that's solidified, because if the produce doesn't come out perfect, the contract is null and void. But with us, we take whatever you grow for us. And what happened last year, because of all the challenges with this frost and then the drought, we were able to let farmers substitute what they contracted because we really want to help those farmers stay online. So we're really proud of the way that we work in tandem with farmers. And so many of our farmers not only sell us produce, but they donate truckloads and truckloads of their produce because they're so committed to the work that we do at the Food Bank Council of Michigan.
Well, and I've seen that grow over the years. Such a great partnership and such a neat opportunity to be able to put the dude together and get the food where it needs to be.
Absolutely, and that is the most important thing. I can't tell you the amount of times that farmers called us during this really tough last season of growing, and they weren't calling us because they were concerned about themselves. They were saying, what are you going to do? I'm not going to be able to donate because I don't have the product. I don't have the produce. And they really touched my heart because they were so concerned because they donated so much produce that they were concerned about what the people that we were serving were going to be able to do. And that really, really lets you know just how important the farming and agriculture community is to the emergency food system.
Okay, well, you do an awesome job.
Thank
That is
you.
good. Well, and I want to make sure too that we get to talk about some of the cool things you have coming up.
We have lots of cool things coming
Oh
up.
yeah, this looks very fun.
Yes, it's called Company in Conversation, a Food Justice Dialogue. And we created this at the Food Bank Council of Michigan because I go to lots of food systems programs, just like you do. And we always have great conversation, but we can never make a deeper dive to really have those conversations because we have an agenda, we have things to get done. So we want to get people around talking about food, food justice, food injustice, food security, food sovereignty. And we have all these really cool topics, like our first one that's coming up on March 26th is called Say What? The Language of Food. Basically, the way we talk about food, the way we language, where someone who always has food is completely different than someone who never has food. And so we just want people to come out. We're over at the Food Bank Council of Michigan. We're in the Armory. We have a great space. We're going to have some food. We're going to have a deeper dive. And then we're going to create like an art and social justice. We may have a poet or an artist to kind of kick it off. And let's have this really good conversation. And we want everyone to come out.
Well, and I will make sure too that I link to you and put information on the website so they can get to you, they can get the dates,
Yes.
and we can get folks to turn out and to be part of the discussion.
Absolutely.
It sounds wonderful. Karima, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Keep up all those great programs and all that great work.
Thank you so much, Jody.
Folks, certainly, we talk about the diversity of agriculture in our state. We talk about what it means to the economy, but sometimes we forget to talk about the folks out there who are food insecure, who don't know where that next meal is coming. Get out, be more of the dialogue, look at the opportunities. There's a lot you can do in your local community, several ways that you can help, but get more involved, learn more about the process, and see what you can do to make sure we not only keep ag strong in the state, but that we also keep people fed. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
And welcome back. We are back with Beth Westemeyer of Zeeland Farm Services, Marketing Manager.
Yep.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a little while since you've been here.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me back.
It is good to have you back, and we're going to talk a little bit about soybeans and some of those products, and kind of get a little bit more of that history, and talk then about what we can do with those wonderful products.
Perfect, sounds good. Well, Zeeland Farm Services is the only soybean processor in Michigan, and so we take in a lot of the soybeans that are grown throughout the state and we process them into soybean meal, soybean oil, things like that. We also have a full line of feed ingredients for farmers, a full truck line. We have 90 trucks on the road. So we just continue to keep growing and getting stronger thanks to our valued farmers who keep coming back, and without those farmers we would not be there. So we're very thankful to our Michigan farmers. So
well, and it has been a great relationship too with Zeeland, and being able to work with the growers to really develop some of these different products and really look at some of those market opportunities. So I from the farmer side too and the commodity side, it really has been an awesome partnership.
wonderful. That's always good to hear. So we are very thankful for those farmers and all of the hard work that they put in. So it's great.
Well, when we look at things like this, I know too you guys are very involved looking at some of the opportunities, looking at the oil, and I know you've had the opportunity to even be at a recent conference activity, learning a little bit more and sharing what we're doing here.
Well, thanks to the Michigan Soybean Promotion Committee, we were given the opportunity to attend the United Soybean Board's Connections 2012 in St. Louis. That was an absolutely wonderful conference to be at. Basically, it took all, a bunch of key players in the soybean industry across the nation, and we all got together giving different perspectives on where the industry is going moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years. And so we all got together and looked at key game changers, as they put them, basically trying to add value to the meal, adding value to the oil, getting back to the customer focus, and making sure that that industry has freedom to operate. And so there were a lot of wonderful key topics that were talked about that are coming for the industry, things like the renewable fuel standards, keeping that going, which would be great for Michigan because we have so many soybeans. We want to keep that in place because our soy oil is a great stock for the biodiesel. And so if we can keep that renewable fuel standards in place, we can create that market and keep it going. Other things that were talked about are things like non-GMO labeling that's coming through, and that the farmers and the industry as a whole really needs to be involved in that discussion and making sure that we're doing a proactive job to get the name out, the word out there and how we want that to be perceived. And so that's another thing that was talked about that will be looked at. And other things that were talked about, things like, basically just educating the public about what farmers do and getting that image back to, our farmers feed our nation and we really need them, and we need to keep that good guy image out there of that farmer, and helping to educate the public on new technologies that we use, minimal water usage, stewardship of the land, and really keeping that in front of our consumers that are kind of losing grasp of where their food comes from. And so as an industry, we need to do a better job of staying in front of those consumers and letting them know that, farmers are here they take a lot of pride in feeding the nation, and they need to get out and let people know. One thing that was asked at that conference was take 2 hours a month and educate someone on what you do. And out of a whole month, 2 hours is nothing to give, but you could really make a positive impact on that consumer's image of the farming community throughout the nation. So it was a great experience for us to be able to go and be able to be a part of that.
Well, and I'm so glad you bring that up too, because it's so hard, because farmers they tend to get focused. If they have livestock, they're out, there's always chores to do. If they're more on the crop side, you're planning, you're marketing, and I think they tend to think, we do a good job, we know what we do the right things. People should just know that, but you don't.
Right.
And it is, I'm so glad you say that, because it's so hard, and usually they're pretty quiet and fairly humble, and don't really want to be out in front of the group.
Absolutely. And as Zeeland Farm Services, we're going to try and do our part too to get that marketing out there to help people. I'm from a small rural community in Michigan as well, where soybeans are planted all over. And when I tell people I work at Zeeland Farm Services and we process soybeans, Most people do not know what a soybean looks like, yet they drive past them in the field every day. And so it's just simple education of that, getting those consumers to know that it's grown all around you and they're doing their part to help feed you and do it well and do it, you know, to the best of their ability. And they're great. They're key to feeding the world. So.
Well, and I know too, we're going to have you come back and do a recipe segment, and we're going to talk a little bit about one of the products that you guys have that certainly is something that's been developed from the soybeans in the state that has helped filling one of those niche markets. So
Absolutely.
I think we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the oil, and you'll make some pretty awesome, I'm looking for the
Asian
title.
chicken salad.
There you go. Folks, stay tuned. We will be back right after this message.
This chicken is beak over claw for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one chicken may not be too much to cluck about, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing, our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. I am back with Beth Westermeyer, Zealand Farm Services. And folks, this recipe is going to be awesome. It smells so good. I got to tell you, I told Beth during the break if I had a fork, I'd just let her talk. It looks absolutely wonderful. I'm going to have you walk us through how you made it.
Absolutely. It was very easy to make, actually, which is always nice because I don't have a whole lot of time being a working mom. But it's nice to be able to feed my family healthy and make something quick and easy. So basically, all you do is take some sesame oil, heat it up in a pan, and saute some sesame seeds and garlic in there and get that all infused. Cut up 2 pounds of chicken, throw it in, kind of saute, and then you just add some soy oil, sugar, soy sauce, and some vinegar. Get that all in real well, work it down until the chicken is cooked for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then you just cut up a head of Napa cabbage and some snow peas and mix it all together. And then I did add some mandarin oranges at the end just for a little color and flavor. So like I said, it was very easy. I made the whole thing in probably 10 to 15 minutes. And it's really healthy and good for you. And obviously it has our soy oil in it. So I'm always happy to share a recipe that includes that.
And we want to make sure, folks, if you want to get the recipe, you can visit us online at MichiganFarmandGarden.com. Or you can write to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895. And Beth, you mentioned the soy oil. I want to make sure we have a chance to talk a little bit about that because last time you were on, it was a new product and you guys were just getting up and just getting started.
Yep.
So tell us about the oil and let's talk a little bit about how it's going.
Yeah, it's all Michigan-grown soybeans that are in there. It's our non-GMO, low-sat oil or seeds. So it does have half the saturated fat content that you would find in a regular vegetable or olive oil. But it still has the omega-3 and omega-6 and vitamin E naturally in it from those lovely soybeans that it comes in. So you're still getting the health benefits of an olive oil, but it has a high smoke point, so you can bake, cook, saute, and a really light flavor. So unlike an olive oil that would probably burn and smoke your kitchen out, you can feel free to saute, which I did the chicken in. So, and once again, it's all Michigan grown, all Michigan processed. So if you want to support a Michigan product, this would be it because those farmers grow those beans for us and it stays local. So. And our sales, it's been on the shelf in this package for a little over a year, and we just continue to see them climb. So the more we can help promote those Michigan soybeans, the more we're going to do. So.
Well, we always run out of time too fast. How do I get it? Where do I find it?
It's available at Meijer, D&W, Family Fare, select Spartan stores, and it's also available online at Amazon.com for free nationwide shipping.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Beth, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Folks, great opportunities. Certainly more you can always learn about agriculture. Great products. We know how important soybeans are to the state. Get out there, try your soy oil, try the recipes on Farm and Garden. Very easy and very healthy. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next weekend. Bye-bye.